What is going on, YouTube? PPS back. We're back for some Pass the Prop NBA edition today. 11 game slate on the docket for tonight's action. Joined as always by my guy Stu. How you doing, my man?
Doing pretty good. Busy time of year, a lot of stuff going on right now. But we've got a great NBA slate today. A lot of action, a lot of injuries too that we obviously have to adjust for. But when we get those injuries, sometimes it can be a little bit of a blessing too. You find those hidden gems. So just gotta navigate through a bunch of games today, and hopefully we got some winning bets for the people.
Yeah, no, and obviously we came off of last show where we did end up making all three of our plays for NBA coming through, so that was good. We can kind of talk about that here and then kind of talk about tonight's slate, a little bit of an overview, and then obviously get on into our plays for tonight. Some pretty high totals across the board on some of these games. Obviously, as a Bucks fan, seeing the 236 total in that one, you can go to the I would never have guessed before the season the Phoenix game against Boston would be in the 230s now. Like that's wild to me. But yeah, let's get into a recap and we'll go for yours here first. Might as well just get the one loss out of the way there. Kamara, what do you have? 2, 3?
Yeah, 2 or 3, one of those two. But like I said, man, Mark Ingram coming out of the grave, out of, not existing the week before and getting 5 garbage time catches instead of Kamara really hurt my soul. But at least it was the only loss of the day, right?
Yeah, not too bad. Obviously, we're happy when we can get some profit here for sure. And then your other one obviously came through. DeJounte had a few steals, I think.
Oh yeah, this was a good one, nice and easy. Everyone did their job. The Thunder stayed close. It was a nice and easy winner. A little bit rare, but it felt good.
Yeah, SGA obviously did fantastic and kept cooking as usual. This one came back from the grave. I did not expect this one. He had Siakam, I think, only had 1 rebound and assist in the first quarter. And then the I just love Nick Nurse rotations, dude. They're so nice. In that whole fourth quarter, he ended up getting 6 rebounds and assists, ended up with like 19 or 18 at the end, but a lot more sweaty than what it looks like after the fact. So, yeah, I was very happy to see him come through. And who would have thought PJ Washington would be the easiest bet of the day? Yep. I ended up cashing his threes up to plus 600. I took him over 4 threes, and dude had 3 threes in the first quarter. Dude was sniping out there, doing exactly what you need to do. I believe against Miami was who he was playing there, shooting threes all over the place. It was awesome to have one kind of come through pretty easy. Giannis ended up with like 33. And as always, but Miami put up a fight, or not Miami, Orlando put up a fight against the Bucks. So happy to see Giannis actually reach the 30-minute mark for the first time in a while. So Bucks have just been blowing teams out. So that was good to see. But yeah, so far on the season, we did have that little rough patch to start, but we're closing back into that even mark, minus 2.3. We're coming back. We got 4 plays for today. And yeah, we'll get into them in a second here. But as always, we kind of want to talk about the overview of the games tonight. There's a lot of injuries. There's a lot of guys missing tonight across the board. But you look at the slate, we have 230 in the Suns game, 233 in the Jazz game, 237 in the Timberwolves game, 229 for the Pelicans. Even the Wizards have a 228 total. Bucks at 236 being the highest on the slate. But even if you go to the Knicks, 233. Like there's high totals across the board. Obviously, let's go outside of the Wizards. Where are we looking here for some value?
It's got to be the Celtics Suns, right? I mean, that's got to be the fun game of the day, right? I mean, that's a rare late game too for the Celtics. Maybe that throws them off right there. They're not used to that late night sweat at the end. But I think that'll be a great game, honestly. I mean, both those teams are projected to be 2 of the best teams on each side, and we don't get to see them play too often. So obviously, we have the matchup at New York that everyone's talking about, Hawks, Knicks, but we've actually seen this matchup now like a bunch. It happens a bunch of times every year beyond just the playoffs. So I'm more excited for the late game, I think, where we'll get to see those two go head to head.
Yeah, really high total, like I said, in the Celtics game. You usually don't see them that high. Obviously, I won't go to my Bucks, even though it's the highest total on the slate. I am kind of curious on what I'm going to look at here with the Pacers game versus the T-Wolves, another high total game. Tyrese is supposed to come back. And I think this is going to be close. It's 233 total, only a 4.5, 5-point spread. Obviously, the injury to Towns is going to make this one a little bit closer, hopefully. But let's just talk about Andrew Nebhart. Holy shit, dude. This dude is on another planet when he gets to start and doesn't have to worry about TJ McConnell and Tyrese going there. Dude dropped like 60 DraftKings points, dude. That was unreal.
Yeah, no, that was an insane performance. And too, I've seen it's funny. This isn't even one that the books slept on. Like normally when these guys come in, especially for stuff like assists, their numbers like 4.5, 5.5. This guy out the gate was 7.5 assists without any of those guys. And then the next game, 8.5 or 9.5 on most books. So they were ready. But man, yeah, I don't know about you. I definitely wasn't expecting quite the performance we've gotten so far. So Pacers have a lot of young guys over there, man. They're just keeping them together. Mathurin's kind of been out of the attention recently, but he's a guy that's been great this year. It should be a good young team to follow. Maybe Miles Turner's got to stop trying out for the Lakers and start trying out for the Pacers, baby.
Yeah, what a matchup down there. And I mean, we're going to be talking about Anthony Edwards, we're talking about Tyrese, but you get to see Gobert and Miles Turner head down there into the paint. That is like I think two of the top 4 players in terms of blocks per game. So maybe we just see one of them foul out in like 3 minutes because they're just going to want to see who can one up each other. Obviously, Jaren Jackson Jr. number 1 in the NBA in blocks, but these two are 2 and 4. So some bigs getting to play around down there and hopefully kind of have a good matchup, right? Rudy doesn't really have many guys who can really match up with him in terms of like length. And obviously Turner being one of those guys there. But yeah, let's take a look at the chat here. We'll check out who's in here. We got Jay in here. Terrence, as always, appreciate you, my man. 20 of you guys in here in the first 5 minutes. Appreciate you. If you could smash that like button, we'd appreciate it. Steve, what's going on, my guy? Yeah, Mike. Yeah, a lot of very, very high totals today. So yeah, no, I don't think anybody will be playing defense. Mike bringing up Antonio double, no Horford. Antonio, who are we talking about here? I'm trying to think. I don't even know who that is.
I think you meant Aiden, who he said under Aiden.
Oh, Aiden. Okay, that makes more sense. Yeah, no, Horford's out. Obviously, dude sits out every back-to-back. I think he is. I saw something with his back, maybe. I guess the guy's just getting old. He's up there. But yeah. Who's number 1 then, Mike? I'm curious who you think the number 1 best team is. If you want to drop that, obviously, I'd be curious to see who you think is 1 there. Yes, Jay, I'm excited. I'm really excited to see this matchup tonight. I will have a bet in that game, and we'll be talking about here in a second. But yeah, 236 total for a Bucks game, impressive.
Oh, yeah. And did you hear about the Kings' defensive strategy, too? I was reading that they were actually going to put Malik Monk up on Sabonis' shoulders, and they were going to function as one person and try to guard Giannis. I don't know if you read that, but it might work.
I am so worried when people see this total and are going to be betting Sabonis. I don't know if Sabonis plays more than 25 minutes here, bro. Dude's fouling out. Giannis is going to run into his chest the whole entire game and follow this man up. So I'm very curious to see some of those lines. I didn't look at Sabonis lines, but we could see some fireworks here, especially with how the Bucks play that pack line defense. You got Monk, you got Kevin Huerter, you got a lot of dudes you can shoot. So this total is definitely where it should be for a game with guys who can actually exploit the Bucks' weaknesses on defense. Don bringing up a college basketball. I'll talk about a little bit. I will never bet Denver. I'll never bet Denver. Eastern Washington sucks, so I would not take it. There's no way I would touch either one of those. Eastern Washington used to be one of my boys. I used to love those dudes. They are so trash. Their top 2 dudes transferred out. That team is so garbage. Don't ever bet them. Please don't do it. I bet on teams that, like, if I could watch it, like I will enjoy it. Mm-hmm. Eastern Washington used to be like that. Used to drop 80 a game. These dudes are lucky to score 60 now because they literally had all their dudes transfer out. So would not bet on either one of those guys. There's a lot better games on the slate there. But yeah, let's shut down, bringing up Shea scoring 30 again tonight. Very well possibly could. I'm sure we'll talk about Shea a little bit here, just because he's been a guy of the show, making us money all over the place. So we're about 10 minutes in. Let's kick it off with your first play here. Half unit spot plus money. I really like this spot.
Sounds good. Yeah, you mentioned that SGA game. We're going on the other side right here. JJJ, 16 points, 2 blocks, plus 100 right here. You normally don't get 2 blocks as the same game parlay option, but that should tell you kind of what JJJ does, right? His ability to have blocks. He's averaging 2.9 blocks per game so far this season, which is obviously pretty freaking good. And then if you look at last year too, it's not like the small sample size is an outlier. He had 2.3 blocks per game last season as well. And both of those are really working on minutes averages that are a little bit lower than we'd expect from a healthy JJJ, right? These two teams actually faced each other right when JJJ came back a little bit earlier, and he cleared this number very easily, dropped 25 points, 3 blocks in that game. And that was only in 25 minutes. So I do believe that he will have a stronger performance in this one. He should be in that 28 to 32-minute range now. We saw him just play 30 against Detroit the other night as well. This is one of those situations. Oh, I see Jace with me right here with the 16 plus SGA steal. Love to see that right there. But this is one of those situations too where when you look at this team, Steven Adams or whatever traditional center you want to think of, this always happens against the Thunder. They always get run off the floor, right? When the Thunder are rolling out a center combo of Pokashevsky and what's that other guy? Robinson Earl. Those two guys are like 6'8", 6'9". These guys aren't centers. And when you play that fast-paced, high-tempo offense, that normally just pushes the opposing starting center out of the way. So I think JJJ will be serving as the main paint protector right here. And would I lay 159? For this combo right here, probably not. No, I don't think so. That's kind of I'm guessing that's the offshore. That's the offshore price right there, unfortunately. But I'd probably just go traditional points or blocks in that situation because I think he goes over both of them. But he's playing well so far, averaging 19.4 points on the season as well. When you look at points in the paint, OKC is top 5 in points in the paint allowed once again. That should not surprise anyone given what I just said about who's playing center on that team. It should be fairly easy for JJJ to bully really whoever he wants in this one. And then when you look, right, Ja Morant is the obvious guy. Points in the paint. He's great. He also will have a little bit of a tougher matchup in this one as well. I think a lot of the defensive attention will go towards him. So I'm expecting JJJ to have a good one right here. 16 points, 2 blocks. He cleared both of them easily in their last matchup with only 25 minutes. Now that he's getting 30 or so, I think this should be pretty automatic to run it back.
Love it. Yeah. No, I mean, especially when your center isn't a scorer for you. Like maybe Porzingis or somebody like that where they have, like, they're a focal point in the offense, right? Steven Adams ain't a focal point in the offense. I'd be surprised if that usage rate reached 5%. So obviously he's very expendable to go to the bench. You have guys on the bench who can still do stuff. Brandon Clark, obviously super athletic, big. You have guys all over the place that are super athletic on this teams, and young too, that will definitely be able to fit this game a little bit better. And yeah, you talked about points in the paint. That's exactly the reason why I'm going to this spot here. And I'm going to Jalen Brunson points, assists over 28.5, facing off at home against the Hawks. Everybody knows Trae Young, blah, blah, blah. Everybody wants to talk about Trae Young here, Trae Young there. But we have to look at Jalen Brunson. And I think this is the perfect buy low spot on Jalen Brunson. Everyone here knows I love backing Jalen Brunson. But yes, everybody's going to look, oh man, he's missed it in 4 straight, right? Like there's no reason to back him, right? He's sucking now. Well, let's just take a look at who we played here, right? We have the Dallas Mavericks, who they lost to by 20 plus 27 minutes. You play the Bucks with Drew Holiday guarding you, which is not an easy matchup by any means. Then you play the Cavaliers, right, that are slow and they're very tough, and he still scored 23 points in that game. And then you play the Pistons where you win by 30 and he plays 18 minutes. Right, those are the 4 games he missed, right? And now you get the Hawks. Hawks, bottom 5 in the NBA in points allowed in the paint per game. Jalen Brunson ranks in the top 5 in terms of drives per game. Only guys ahead of him, Luka, Ja, and SGA are the top 3 in drives per game. Brunson's right there. His assist percentage is higher than last year. Everybody's been looking at Randall. What is Randall going to do down there, right? This is going to be a tough spot. That boy's going to have Capella, right? Okongwu's a good guy for blocking shots, but Brunson's going to be able to drive. He's going to be able to kick. I really like this matchup for him. I think he's got the easiest matchup of anybody out there for the guys that are going to be primarily scoring here. Obviously, you have to put more on his. You're going to be looking at Jalen Johnson playing in this game for the Hawks. They're not healthy completely either. I know Smith, or not Smith. Wow. I just thought of Josh Smith. The old, I'm like, oh my God. I don't know why. I think I saw like one of those forgotten NBA player accounts, and Josh Smith was put on there when I actually meant John Collins, which is, I guess, close maybe. But yeah, I don't know why I said Smith. That was really bad. I blame Twitter. Blame Twitter for my browsing there. But obviously, Collins is out. Capella has taken a bigger role here, but dude, Brunson is going to be tough in this game. His assist percentage over 25%. The Hawks are going to be obviously trying to key in on Randall when he gets the ball in the paint, and that's where he's doing most of his damage. So Brunson's got the best matchup. I like their rotation. I like that it's going to be short and sweet. If it's close, he's going to be in there 35-plus minutes in games that are competitive. Sign me up. I love Brunson.
Yeah, no, I really don't have anything negative to say about Brunson right here. I think you're probably getting a pretty solid line based on kind of that recency bias, like you said, getting some incredibly tough opponents. But he's one of those guys. He'll get you the points. He'll get you the assists. He can kind of give it to you in almost every category. And he's finally in a matchup where he actually should have a pretty good backcourt matchup right here against Trae Young and DeJounte Murray. So I'm definitely a fan of this one right here. I think DeJounte too will spend a lot more time guarding some of the other guys. I think he'll get a lot of time on like Barrett and switches, for example, because I do think his size lets him guard up at that position. So Brunson should be in a pretty good spot. His mid-range game should be on full display in here as well.
Love it. And I love that he's facing off with Trae too. We always talk about when they play better players, you get to kind of see them show out a little bit more. And everybody's talking about the last 4 games. How about the 5 prior to that? 4 30-point games and a 9-assist game. Hit them in 5 straight games prior. So sign me up for Jalen Brunson. Another fan of the show there for sure. Love Jalen Brunson here. Let's take a look here. Dom, I won't be talking too much college basketball in here. Unfortunately, I don't have my stuff all here with me for that. We got Jay talking about his spot. I like that SGA stealing that ball. I love that. I also love how. Did you watch the end of the OKC game on what was it, Monday?
No, I didn't. I didn't catch the end.
SGA is just the best dude to have in like the last 2 minutes when people start fouling, because dude's hitting 95% free throws and just continue to find a way to get open and get the ball. Dude, it was awesome. He got like 13 free throw attempts in that game on just bum fouls at the end of the game. Dude's making everything, and just it looked like it was going to be a sweat on my points, rebounds, assist line for him. And then the dude just ends up with like 35 points, 36 points. Like, where do those come from? Yeah. It's all just these free throws, dude. It was so awesome just to have all that money, all them points just keep adding up on there. All right. Jay bringing up Denny over 2.5 assists as a thought. Obviously, Beal is out in this one. Do you have a look here? Obviously, he's talking about Denny Avdia.
Yeah, it's a really good question right there. I do lean the over, but what I will have to say, someone that's watched a lot of Washington, especially without Beal, is especially this season, they've really gone to a point guard by committee approach without Beal. They're not one-to-one replacing him. Rather, Monty Morris will take a chunk. Denny will take a chunk. Kuzma will take a chunk. Porzingis. It's really whoever brings the ball down the court will kind of take a chunk. So unfortunately, it's not like Denny's going to be the point guard now, right? It's not like suddenly Beal being out changes that, but he is a pass-first guy considering the fact that he has one of the worst shooting percentages in basketball this season, which means he's too scared to shoot. So I think he'll be passing a good amount. I think 3 is probably a good look. I would just have to assume this would be a little bit juiced. I'd be surprised if it was better than like minus 130. So if it is, then I definitely do like that spot. But I will have to say it won't be like he won't have like 15 potential assists. He'll have like 6, and we'll just have to hope he converts like 3 of them. But I kind of, for the same reason, I kind of like Denny. I also kind of like Kuzma and Porzingis as well, because they'll also be controlling the tempo, the pace, and really the ball movement through the post as opposed to Denny on the outside. So I would lean over, yeah, but it's not going to be easy, I would say.
Yep, minus 120 is what he gave you for that line.
Oh,
Actually,
yeah.
pretty good. But yeah, let's head on over to our next ones. I will drop in here. Make sure if you guys have questions, drop them here in the chat, and we will get on to plays number 3 and 4. 2 spots here, both 1 unit spots. I'll kick it over to you first.
Sounds good. I'll be going over to one that I'd probably give this out last time the Bulls played the Wizards on the show actually, and it's something that if you follow me, you kind of know that DeMar DeRozan against the Wizards is always going to be a smash spot, man. He is even in those Spurs days, man, his ability to frequently just bully us has been so evident. I think any Wizards fan with experience. He also had a game winner against us after, we thought Kuzma had the game winner. It was a tough seed. Either way, earlier this season, we bet it. He ended up with 32 points, cashing that number pretty easily. Now, they're in a more balanced offense. They do have more guys healthy. But the good news is he has been looking good, right? Kind of like your thing. He hit this number in 7 straight games, was coming in really confident. That line was getting bigger and bigger. And then he missed it in 2 straight games, and suddenly the line's back to where it was. Kind of forgetting about those 7 games previous to the 2 misses right here. So this is a team where tons of guys are going to pick up the slack all the time. It's really about, rather than looking towards the past, you want to look towards the future, right? You want to look towards the matchup. And I do think DeRozan's mid-range game is very well suited here. Washington, their biggest priority with this new regime dating back to last season, get those guys off the three-point line, push them off the three-point line, make them make those twos, make them make those shots around the rim. And luckily for them, Porzingis has actually been a great rim protector so far this year. Pretty much that's leaving the main weak spot as that mid-range game, right? That DeRozan mid-range game. I don't think there's a better mid-range shooter in the NBA than him. He'll obviously have Denny Advia on him for a decent amount of time, but like I just mentioned, Denny has not been playing well at all. He's been getting his minutes cut. That means a lot more Corey Kispert recently. I like Corey Kispert, good shooter, good, team player, not a good defender. It's going to be a tough adjustment. Washington down Beal too, Monty Morris, Kispert. It's not a strong defensive unit we're talking about at all, rather than that unit that was actually ranked one of the best to start the season out. So I think this Washington team is they're looking pretty sad right now. I'm not going to lie. I think they're going to be exploited on defense. I think DeRozan should get this 26 number. And if I had to guess, you unfortunately can't bet on free throws anymore. I kept shouting it out on here on Prize Picks. They took the whole market away. So I haven't been able to bet on free throws for like a month. But if you could, I bet DeMar DeRozan's getting to the free throw line between 8 and 10 times today as well.
Beautiful. And if you had to pick a guy here who's going to go above expectation, obviously you got Kuzma, you got Porzingis taking all this usage. Is there somebody you think is going to kind of go a little bit higher than what they're usually doing?
Yeah, it's got to be probably Kuzma PRA. I think he'll probably give it to you in every category a little bit more as well. The thing about Kuzma, if he's going to shoot, like even when Beal's in there, Kuzma doesn't get as many design sets as he used to, which means he's just, when he gets the ball, he's not really passing anymore. He's kind of like, this is my shot. I'm working on a team with Beal, Porzingis, all these other guys that are ball dominant. I need to get my shots up now. Now that we take Beal out of that equation, I think he's still going to have that same mentality and just more opportunity. So if I had to guess, I would say Kuzma's gonna have plenty of opportunities. It's just if he can actually pull through or not.
Perfect. I'm sure some people are kind of looking at other spots in the Wizards game. Everybody's probably looking at the Warriors. Everybody's looking at the Lakers, right? All of these injuries. No, Brunson, I will be on the over. And then I will be heading over to my team, the Milwaukee Bucks. Points, rebounds for Mr. Giannis Antetokounmpo. Minus 120, 42.5. 5.5 point spread, which I was interested in. I was not expecting that in this spot where the Bucks are obviously at home facing off against this Kings team. You got Sabonis, you got like I talked about Herder and De'Aaron Fox earlier, but Giannis is literally on one lately, right? We've had 3 close games. Even when Middleton's back, those are the 3 games that Middleton has been back. We had 3 close games, right? You're looking at the New York Knicks, you got the Lakers and the Magic, right? All of them within 10 points. And we're seeing when the games are close, they're finally letting Giannis play, right? Averaging 35 minutes in those games, 34, 40, 37, and then 13, 13, and 7 rebounds, right? This dude is absolutely on a tear. Even with Middleton there, I think that actually helps stretch the floor because now you can't send another guy at him, right?
Yeah.
Also, let's just look at the advanced stats for NBA leaders this year. NBA leaders, and you're going to see obviously the same guys at the top, right? You got Luka, blah, blah, blah. Your boy Walker Kessler, number 1 in true shooting percentage, sitting up there. I thought you'd like to see that. But usage percentage, Giannis, 38. He's sitting at 38% usage right now. What I do really like to see is he's at 20 points per game in the paint. Sacramento, they are ranked right next to Atlanta. I just talked about Jalen Brunson and being good in the paint and being able to drive. Giannis is obviously right there in terms of drives. He's not all the way at the top, but he's right there in the top 20 in terms of drives per game. You also look at fast break points. He's number 1 in the NBA at 6.5. You look at second chance points. Obviously, Anthony Davis is 1. Giannis right there at 3. Right, Sacramento is not going to be able to handle him inside at all. I don't really know what they're going to do if Sabonis finds a way to get into foul trouble, because you're going to send Portis down there and Giannis at him. I think this is an extremely tough matchup. Like I said, bottom 6 in terms of points in the paint allowed. You have the number 1 guy in points in the paint. You have a guy here who's obviously very good at rebounding the basketball as well, sitting if you want to look at his double-double, minus 400 for his double-double today. If you're looking at that, but he's averaging 11.5 rebounds per game. But I do just like that we've seen him get the minutes now, right? He's been so efficient in like 28 minutes and they're blowing teams out. I think the Kings put up a fight. They've been playing very well. And if they can keep this within 10, I think Giannis gets those 35 minutes and absolutely crushes this line again.
Yeah, no, I agree. Giannis is in absolutely a great spot. I kind of made that joke earlier too about how they're going to guard him. I mean, really think this through. Like, I'm curious what Jay thinks. Would Harrison Barnes under be a good look tonight? Maybe instead of Sabonis to try to keep him out of foul trouble, maybe Harrison Barnes is like the sacrificial lamb that has to attempt to guard Giannis for the first little bit. Is that maybe a look? I'm curious what Jay thinks this new regime will try to do because obviously the whole world knows that they can't guard Giannis. Like, the personnel just don't match up 1-to-1. So I'm very curious how they try to approach it. But kind of like I mentioned, I don't think it really matters. I think Giannis is in store for an absolute monster game. And this feels like a Giannis regular points, rebounds, not a line against the Kings with a total that's like 280 points. So I like this one. I think it's going to go over. And I think it's actually a pretty generous line given the game circumstances.
Yeah, and the Bucks aren't like an extremely fast team. Like, if you look at your like tempo metrics and stuff, they're not particularly fast. But if you see they're just so efficient. And when they play against faster teams, they run with them, right? They're not like stuck like 2-3 years ago with the Knicks, right? It didn't matter who they played. All of the scores were 206 to 210, right? Because they would never run with the teams, even when they face a fast team. Bucks literally will go however the other team plays. It's very hard to stop these guys in the fast break and in the half court. So I'd be very surprised to see where this total goes throughout the day, because I'm curious if people are going to think it's going to go more towards the Bucks or if it's going to kind of move towards the Kings pace here to move that total a bit. But let's take a look here. Jay is bringing up, as a Kings fan, I think the Bucks cover. Yeah, I think 6.5 is a little generous towards the Kings, but I mean, they've been making people a lot of money. If you're backing them, they're covering a lot of spreads. So, as I talked about earlier, Toledo's like my favorite college basketball team because they just cover for you. It's all bet against them, even when they're dogs, right? That's the same way. If you're making money on the Kings, you're going to keep backing them until they really screw you over here. So, they're just good. There's just teams that play well as underdogs, and the Kings started out this season as dogs very often, and now they just continue to make money. So I can see why people are backing them. If they've made you money in the past, I'm sure you want to continue to back them. So I kind of understand that. We have Mike talking about Utah tonight. I'm going to assume he's talking spread. We have Utah facing the Warriors, 7.5-point favorites. I don't know if I can back 8-point favorite Utah Jazz team. I get it, they're at home. Do you have a thought here? Obviously, we're missing Curry, Wiggins, and Draymond.
Yeah. So I'm a little biased. I like the Warriors scrub squad. Okay. That's what I like to call the backup. You know, we got the scrub squad coming in, take care of business. I actually think the Warriors are a well-coached team. I think their guys are good players, right? I'm excited to see, 28 minutes of Kuminga, of Moody tonight. So DiVincenzo, too, another guy I'll be looking to bet. That'll be a sneaky guy if they ever post his lines up there. So I'm going to be completely honest. Every time this has happened so far this season, I bet the Warriors. I don't know how my record is there. It's at least 1-1. There might have been another game where they sat everyone, and I don't remember if they covered or not. But I would say they have a good, well-coached, solid unit that can put a competitive game out, even if they don't have their stars. So for that reason, I would lean Golden State. But I admit it, I'm biased. I pretty much bet them every time those guys are ruled out.
Yeah, no, and I like Moody. I liked him in college. I like Kuminga. Those guys are actually going to play extremely hard when they get these minutes because obviously they're on a team that has some studs, right? So these are your chances, right? These are your chances. You're playing for another contract here. I don't know. 8 points just seems a little excessive for a Utah side with obviously, I mean, they're good. Don't get me wrong. They're playing extremely, extremely well. But yeah, it's hard for me to back that side with that price, like you're paying a premium with all those dudes out. So for sure, let's take a look here. Jay talking about how Giannis is going to shoot. Do you have a free throw line over there, or do you say they don't have them anymore?
They banned the market completely. So unfortunately I can't, but I would play it. But yeah, I agree with this sentiment. It's going to be tough. We can see some Metu minutes for sure though.
Oh God. That'll be interesting. I saw one other guy who Terrence Davis, I don't think is playing tonight. So that's another guy you could come off the bench to shoot for him. So maybe you get more bench minutes to Monk there. If you're looking at some really low end props for some of these. A quick one from Don Playa here. Do you like UConn first half? I don't bet first half spreads too much. I'll just take their money line. I'll just eat the juice on the money line and throw it in like a parlay or something. I do like Weber State with the over probably. I love backing Cal Baptist as well. So I like Cal Baptist as a team. They're actually very profitable, and they're always the late game too. So you know how it is. You want to have money on that late game hammer. Just come through for you. So, yeah, I think that the Cal Baptist side would be the side I go to.
Hey, I didn't even know UConn was allowed to have a men's basketball team. I thought they were women's only up there. Those are the stars. But I actually did learn they had a men's team when I heard they're really good. So that's my input. They're really good. That's what I have to say.
Yeah, they are actually pretty good. So that was good data, though. Good data. Let's take a look. Times you think there's no chance. Yeah. No, this is, I think he's talking about the Utah side. We have another game, obviously the Lakers with a lot of star power missing. Do you have a thought on these games like that where you have, I believe, Toronto, I think they're 12.5 point favorites. And then we obviously also have the Warriors here as a 7.5 point favorites. You lean towards the dog here, even though they're missing those guys. On the Lakers side, I think they're starting Thomas Bryant. An old wizard. I know you like that. Do you have a thought on the Lakers side too here with a 12.5 point spread against this Raptors team?
Yeah, the Lakers is a pass. For me, one of the biggest reasons, if I like the bench unit, if it's a well-coached team we're talking about, if it's a coach that I have faith in that has these guys ready to go, they have a proven system of developing these young guys, which is what the Warriors have. And it's obviously not something the Lakers have. So I definitely don't have that same confidence in the Lakers putting their bench, team out there to compete, especially then against the opposite side, against Nick Nurse, who's going to come with his full A team, another very well-coached team. And Siakam will probably play 45 minutes, up 40 points in the fourth quarter, getting those stats in. So, yeah, it depends on the coaching for me.
Dude, my real thing is how bad without Anthony Davidson was the paint presence for the Lakers last night? That was so gross. That was so gross, dude. I was just watching it. And I'm like, because obviously Jared Allen was like 70% owned because it's first game back and he was like 6K.
Yeah.
And I didn't play him because I didn't want to deal with the chalk. But Jesus Christ, every time down the floor was just a dump off to him and a dunk. And I'm like, this dude he's like 8 for 8 for 20 points. And it's like just starting the second quarter. I'm like, what is going on here, dude? That defense is so bad. I don't even know what to even say on that.
Yeah, no, I mean, as a Washington fan that's seen Thomas Bryant try to protect the paint, it's going to be real ugly. Maybe if he is starting, maybe the first quarter spread for the Raptors, the first quarter team total over as well. That's what I did a lot. And Thomas Bryant, I believe, started 10 games before the trade deadline for Washington, and I believe I bet against us in the first quarter every single one of those games. So I like that same idea here. That's a very good point.
Yeah, he actually played pretty well, like offensively.
He can shoot.
He was shooting threes. That boy was cooking. He had like 14 points. I'm like, whoa, Thomas Bryant doing his best Isaiah Stewart impersonation from that 3-point line, baby, splashing out there.
Oh, he'll chuck him, and he has a great energy too. He is a great leader, brings the team together. The problem is, and I'm not exaggerating, he looks like if you put a regular person out there to try to understand an NBA defensive alignment, he gets confused so often. Like he legitimately is looking to the sideline, like what am I supposed to be doing right now? And nobody knows. I don't know. I've watched a lot of him. The Lakers don't know, so it's gonna be ugly.
My favorite part was. Because obviously Davis goes out with an illness. Dude, don't even get me started. That I had him, dude. He had 4 boards in like 8 minutes, and he was cooking these dudes on just grabbing boards. And I'm sitting there, and then all of a sudden I see he's out, so I'm already pissed. And then Thomas Bryant ends up with 3 fouls in like 9 minutes, bro. It was so fast. The dude was like, he's so fast. And then obviously Damian Jones, shout out to the Kings.
Oh, yeah.
That boy came in and, again, had like 3 or 4 fouls. So I guess they really need AD back there with an illness that was not reported all day. So got to love that if you're back in AD like I was there. So I do really like Herter. It's just I don't know if I want to go Herter or if I want to go with Malik Monk. Because Malik Monk ain't passing. Kevin Herter actually might pass the ball if the ball gets to his hands. Like Malik Monk might shoot 23s tonight. And I'm not even exaggerating. Like that's how you beat the Bucks. You just got to shoot. You got to keep shooting. Everybody remembers Grant Williams in the playoffs last year. It's the same thing with Miami. That's why I talked about PJ Washington last time. I laddered his threes in the last game because Miami does the same thing. They're very good in the paint. And you better be shooting well. And I don't know if I'm going to ladder PJ Washington tonight as an 11-point dog against the Nets. It's going to be so gross. I think Kyrie just absolutely cooks those boys and Terry Rozier's lock-up defense on Kyrie. Can't even say it without laughing. So I don't know if I'm going to be backing PJ tonight. If anything, again, it'll probably just be points. The dude has volume. The dude just shoots, bro.
No, that was nice and easy. And I agree with you about the Herter thing, too. It's so hard to choose between those guys. Then for the final one right here, Suns or Celtics. I don't know about you. It's not even that hard. I'm clicking on that Celtics button every single time.
Dude, I get it. Everybody kind of likes that the Chris Paul's coming back, blah, 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 leadership, blah, blah, blah. Bro, Jason Tatum might put up 40 on these boys. Like, actually 40 on them. Because I just have a feeling this is just going to get ugly. Dude, like, the Suns have been getting blown out in some of these games. Like, the Mavericks didn't even play their starters in the fourth quarter, and they won by 25, right? And, I mean, don't get me wrong, Dinwiddie's nice, but he shouldn't be scoring 20-plus points that easy on you guys. Suns play fast. I think this game easily could go very far over to the Celtics side. I like the Celtics a lot. I like their team. I just obviously, as being a Bucks fan, it's hard to think that they're number one in the East. You know, I think that is still going to be another good matchup here in the playoffs when that comes around. Let's take a look. While I'm looking up here, what's your thoughts on the John Hyman talking about Aaron Judge going to the Giants early?
That was really funny, honestly. I feel bad for all the Giants fans out there. I think it would have made baseball more fun if you went there as opposed to the Yankees, but that's okay. A lot of people obviously got angry, and then we all had to wake up to the Judge news this morning. So, you know, I don't know. I always think it's funny though. It's like one of those viral like Barry tweets or whatever, but it was from an actual guy that gets paid to do this. So shout out to him for messing with everybody, even though it wasn't on purpose for a day.
All right. Let's we got a couple things in here. We'll talk about it here. We'll do our recap. While we're doing this recap, while I'm recapping, while you're recapping, let's think of a little long shot that we're going to think about today. Let's think about a little long shot that might come into play tonight. Obviously we have a little bit of time yet, 35 minutes here. So while we're recapping, while we're talking a little bit, think about where you're going there with that. Let's do a quick recap. And then we'll get to the questions, and then we'll get to our impromptu long shot because neither one of us actually have one right now. But I'm sure we can come up with one pretty quick.
Sounds good. I'm starting out DeMar DeRozan over 27.5 points in that Bulls versus Washington game. Then we're going over JJJ, 16 points. Combine that with 2 blocks plus 100. That's half a unit over in the DraftKings or MGM or even Caesars, I believe. Same game parlay.
Beautiful. And I will be on Jalen Brunson over 28.5 points plus assists, and then over 42.5 points plus rebounds for my boy Giannis Antetokounmpo. All right, you got one for tonight? What are we thinking? We got a lot of games on the docket. We got a lot of high totals. Is there a thought? Is there maybe like a parlay possibly you're thinking about maybe playing? Where are we thinking today?
So right now I'm kind of looking, I mentioned him earlier, I'm kind of looking at the Corey Kispert threes right now. I think that could be a very interesting angle tonight with how much he's been playing and how much Washington really does need that shooting. Because right, when you think about it, Porzingis normally loves to sit out there and chuck threes, but he's going against Vucevic. That's a matchup where he can actually bully. He can go in the paint and bully. What happens when Porzingis goes in the paint? The whole defense kind of has to collapse around him, has to move in, try to get that double team, try to force him out the paint. That's always going to leave a shooter open on the outside. Like I said, it might even be Denny. Denny kicks it over to Kispert, and he knocks down a couple threes. So I see right here 4 threes is plus 800, I believe. Oh, plus 600. Okay. 4 threes plus 600 for Kispert is something I'm looking at. I'll have to check if DraftKings has a better price, though.
Yeah, I'm very, very interested to see the injury report for the Pacers because I will be hammering Buddy Hield points tonight if Tyrese is playing. I might take Buddy Hield to score 30 to 35 points tonight because Timberwolves can't guard me on the three-point line. Those boys can't guard me on the three-point line. I can't even dribble against those guys. So, but if I had to look right now, I think sign me up for Mr. Anthony Edwards, 35 points. He's at plus 450. I love that spot. Again, Pacers can't guard the three ball either. Edwards has been fantastic since Karl Anthony Towns has gone out there. Russell, assist rate is up since he's been out as well. I could see Anthony Edwards being the top point scorer of the night tonight. I could see that. I might have to look at that odds for that. I don't bet too many of those, like those crazy lead the NBA in stuff. I don't really usually do that line, but man, we could see some numbers up in some of these games today.
Yeah, I think the biggest competition is the play you've already posted is Giannis, right? But if you do get good odds on that, then I actually don't mind that at all. I agree. Edwards to lead the NBA in scoring tonight would definitely be a solid long shot.
Yeah, they don't have the line out for it, obviously, with the injury news and not having all of it. I want to get your thoughts on this before we get into the ending here. What do you think Giannis's line is to lead that game in scoring? I'm curious. I just looked, so I'm curious what you think it
is. Where I would put it would I don't even know where probably like minus like 300, something like that is what I would do.
Minus 500 for Giannis on DraftKings to lead the scoring and those. It's crazy, dude. Like Sabonis is 2,500. If you like Kevin Huerter plus 5,000 to lead that game, dude. Whenever you have obviously a superstar on the other side, it makes it a little bit tougher there. But like you can get some pretty good value in this one, especially like if you go to like the Celtics and you think maybe Jaylen Brown's like plus 300. Like this, there's just not that much. There's just not that much value in those because they have Devin Booker at plus 120.
Yeah.
Tatum at minus 110. Like that's like, come on, give me some. Don't be afraid to give me some more bigger numbers. Some big numbers. Oh man, Terrence he already did it. We didn't even get to it yet. We didn't even get to parlaying them together. But 35 points for me. What was yours again? What was the exact one that you're thinking about?
4 threes for Corey Kispert.
Here, I'll write it down so in case it actually gets Bert 4 threes.
Yeah, plus 600.
I'll just put it up there just in case it actually hits, so you'll have a nice screenshot of it. So make sure you got something so you can like make you can start smiling or something so you can screenshot it.
Move my face closer to it though. I can't really.
And then Anthony Edwards, 35 plus 410. I think what it was. So yeah, I think I might be hammering Buddy Hield tonight, bro. Again, god damn, I think it might be the day. I've been off on him a couple times lately. He's been shooting brick city lately, so this might be that day. So I don't see any other questions in here. Stu, we're at that 40-minute mark. What do you got for the people before we head out today?
Yeah, no, I mean, we both got tons of other stuff out. I know you're going to have your article out. I'm going to have some other stuff as well. So make sure to follow us both on Twitter, which are listed below. Also, make sure to follow us both on Picket. You get between $3 and $100 when you sign up with code PTP. That's easy money right there. You want to go check out. I haven't had a write-up yet. I lost my Dolphins +4 last week, so I've got to work on a write-up for Picket over there. I like doing that weekly play. So if you want to go check that out. And then for later today, if you're still here with us live right now, I'll be on Dimers Prop or Chop, I think is what it's called, later today as well, going head-to-head against somebody. So if you want to see more stuff from me, then I will be there.
Awesome. Well, good luck on that. Hopefully you win, whoever, I don't even know. I have to remember who's all over there from the prop community, but good luck on that. Like Stu said, I will have articles out here coming shortly. I didn't do a play of the day video. That'll be out tomorrow. Maybe some college basketball stuff there as well. But yeah, ton of stuff, a lot of action, 11-game slate. Make sure you're paying attention, have those notifications on, and we'll be back for you guys Friday morning for some plays for the NFL slate. So have a good one, guys. Best of luck, and hopefully we come back with another 4-0 sweep.